Throughout history, tales of reincarnation and memories of past lives have captivated the human imagination, weaving a tapestry of mystery and wonder that stretches across cultures and centuries. Among the most enigmatic and compelling accounts are those of young children, barely old enough to speak, who claim to remember lives that ended long before their own began. These stories are often dismissed as the fanciful inventions of innocent minds, yet some are so detailed, so startlingly accurate, that they leave even the most skeptical observers questioning the nature of consciousness, memory, and the boundaries between life and death. Imagine a child, just 3 years old, suddenly speaking of people, places, and events no one around them has ever known. The words tumble out in fragments at first, names, locations, professions, bits and pieces of a puzzle that defies logic. Parents listen in disbelief as their child describes a house they have never visited, a family they have never met, and incidents that occurred decades ago, sometimes in distant lands. For many families, these moments spark a journey into the unknown, a search for answers that leads them to confront the possibility that their child's memories may not belong solely to this lifetime. One of the most famous cases comes from India, where a young boy named Shanti Devi began speaking of a previous life in a city miles from her home. She insisted that she once lived as a woman named Lugdi, describing her house, her husband, and even the pain of her death and childbirth. Intrigued and unsettled, her parents decided to investigate. Astonishingly, details given by Shanti matched records and people in the town she described, people she had never met, places she had never visited. Her story was taken seriously enough to prompt an official inquiry, which confirmed many of the facts she had revealed. Such stories are not confined to one culture or continent. In the United States, a boy named James Leininger began having nightmares about a plane crash at the age of 2. He spoke of being a fighter pilot named James, who flew from a ship called the Natoma, and described events of World War II with uncanny precision. His parents, bewildered by these revelations, delved into military records and discovered that a pilot named James Houston Jr. had died in circumstances eerily similar to those described by their son. The details James provided, some of which were not publicly available, were so specific that they defied explanation. What makes these accounts so chilling is not just the accuracy of the memories, but the emotional force with which they are delivered. Children often speak with conviction, sometimes displaying knowledge or skills they could not have learned in their current lives. In some cases, physical marks or phobias correspond to injuries or traumas from their alleged past lives. These connections are more than coincidences. They hint at a deeper mystery, something that lies beyond the veil of ordinary experience. Skeptics argue that these stories can be explained by chance, suggestion, or the absorption of information from adult conversations, books, or media. Others suggest that children, with their vivid imaginations and sensitivity to the emotions of adults around them, may weave tales that reflect hidden family histories. Yet, the most perplexing cases, those with verifiable details unknown to the child and family, remain unexplained, haunting the scientific and spiritual communities alike. Researchers have attempted to unravel this phenomenon, most notably Dr. Ian Stevenson, who spent decades collecting and analyzing over 2,500 cases of children who claimed to remember past lives. His work revealed patterns. Children typically begin speaking about their previous lives between the ages of 2 and 5, and most forget these memories by the age of 7. The stories often involve a violent or sudden death, and the children sometimes exhibit behaviors or fears that correspond to the circumstances of that death. Dr. Stevenson's meticulous documentation included interviews, photographs, and verification of facts, compelling many to reevaluate their beliefs about memory and identity. But even as science seeks to explain, the stories themselves evoke a sense of wonder that refuses to be tamed. What if the boundaries of life and death are not as rigid as we imagine? What if consciousness is not wholly bound to the flesh, but instead travels across lifetimes, carrying fragments of experience and memory? These questions linger in the shadows, challenging us to look beyond the ordinary and to consider the possibility that reality itself is far stranger than we know. For families touched by these mysteries, the experience is often profound and unsettling. Some seek solace in spiritual traditions that embrace reincarnation, finding comfort in the idea of an eternal soul journeying through many lives. Others struggle with disbelief, torn between the evidence before them and the limits of conventional understanding. The children themselves, unaware of the controversy their stories ignite, often speak with a clarity and innocence that is both haunting and beautiful, a reminder of the unfathomable depths that lie within the human mind. In some communities, these stories are treated with reverence, becoming the foundation for rituals and beliefs that honor the continuity of life. In others, they provoke anxiety and skepticism, prompting debates about the nature of memory, identity, and the soul. Yet, regardless of cultural context, the phenomenon persists, defying easy explanation and inviting us to ponder the mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of science and reason. As night falls and the world grows quiet, imagine the whispers of children recounting lives they have never lived, places they have never seen, and love and loss that transcend time. Their words echo in the darkness, stirring a longing for answers and awakening a sense of awe at the mysteries we have yet to unravel. Are these memories mere coincidences, fragments of imagination, or glimpses into something greater? A hidden dimension where past and present intertwine, and every life is but a chapter in an endless story? The tales of children who remember past lives invite us to look beyond the familiar, to venture into realms where certainty fades and wonder prevails. They remind us that the world is full of secrets, waiting to be discovered by those with the courage to listen and the openness to believe. Whether these stories are proof of reincarnation or simply a testament to the boundless creativity of the human mind, they challenge us to embrace the unknown, to seek truth in the shadows, and to never stop asking questions. In the end, the phenomenon of children recalling past lives remains an enigma, a riddle wrapped in mystery, shrouded in the mists of time. It is a story that continues to unfold, beckoning us to follow the clues, to marvel at the possibilities, and to wonder with childlike curiosity what lies beyond the veil of this life and the next.